The old mechanic wiped the grease from his hands and said, "You Hollywood types always think money fixes everything." Then he opened Prince's glove box to get the registration, and what fell out made him drop his wrench and stare at Prince like he'd seen a ghost. Route 66, Arizona Desert, 87 miles from the nearest town. Tuesday afternoon, August 2011, 3:34 p.m. Temperature 106 degrees. Prince was driving his 1967 Ford Thunderbird, purple, custom restoration, one of one, from Los Angeles to a private recording session in Sedona. He was alone. No assistant, no security, just him, the open road, and his thoughts. Mile marker 247. The engine started smoking. Temperature gauge spiked. Oil light flashed. The car shuddered and died. Prince coasted to the shoulder. Middle of nowhere. Nothing but desert, heat waves, and cacti for miles. He pulled out his phone. No signal. He sat in the car for 15 minutes, waiting, hoping someone would pass. Nobody did. 4:02 p.m. He started walking. In dress shoes, not hiking boots, black pants, purple button-down shirt, dark sunglasses. After 20 minutes, he saw it in the distance. A weathered sign. Roy's Garage and Gas. Last stop 100 miles. The building looked half-abandoned. Faded paint, rusted pumps, but there was a light on inside. Roy Tucker, 72, white, Vietnam veteran, mechanic for 50 years, was sitting behind the counter listening to AM radio, country music, drinking lukewarm coffee. He ran this place alone, had for 40 years. His wife died in 2003. His kids moved to California and never called. This garage was all he had left. The door chimed. Roy looked up. A small black man in purple walked in. Sunglasses, afro, sweating. Roy's first thought, Hollywood type. Probably rented some fancy car and drove it into the ground. Prince, "My car broke down, about 2 miles back. Can you tow it?" Roy, not looking up from his newspaper. "What kind of car?" "67 Thunderbird." "You overheat. It?" "I don't know. It just died." Roy finally looked at Prince, took in the outfit, the sunglasses, the clean hands. "You from California?" "Minnesota, but I live in L.A. now." Roy snorted. "Figures. You Hollywood types always think you can drive classic cars in 100-degree heat without knowing what you're doing." Prince didn't respond. Roy stood, grabbed his keys. "Tow's $150. If it's the radiator, you're looking at $500 minimum. If it's the engine, could be $2,000. You got that kind of cash?" Prince, calmly. "I have cash." "Good, because I don't take credit cards, and I sure as hell don't take IOUs from city folks." 4:47 p.m. Roy towed the Thunderbird back. He hooked it up without speaking. Prince sat in the tow truck's cab, silent. When they got back to the garage, Roy popped the hood. Steam everywhere. Oil splattered. It was bad. Roy shaking his head. "Blown gasket, maybe worse. You drove this thing too hard." "How long to fix?" 3 days, maybe 4. I gotta order parts. "I need to be in Sedona by tomorrow." Roy laughed. "Well, you ain't gonna make it. Not in this car." Prince looked around. There was nothing. No rental car agency, no bus station, no Uber, no cell signal. "Is there a motel nearby?" 40 miles east. But you got no car." Prince thought. "Can I wait here until you fix it?" Roy stared at him. "You want to stay here?" "If that's okay." Roy shrugged. "Suit yourself, but I don't run a hotel. You'll sleep on the cot in the back. And you'll help me work. I'm not fixing your car for free while you sit around." Prince nodded. "Fair." Day 1. 5:34 p.m. Roy started working on the Thunderbird. Prince watched. After 20 minutes, Roy handed Prince a wrench. "You gonna stand there or help?" I don't know cars. Then you'll learn. Hold this. For the next 2 hours, Prince assisted, holding tools, fetching parts, getting grease on his hands. Roy didn't talk much, just barked instructions, 7:12 p.m. They took a break. Roy made instant coffee on a hot plate, offered Prince a cup. They sat on plastic chairs outside, watching the sunset. Roy, what do you do for work? I'm a musician. Pay good? It pays. You famous? Some people know me. Roy nodded, uninterested. My son wanted to be a musician. Played guitar. Thought he was going to be the next Elvis. What happened? Life happened. He's an accountant in San Diego now. Hates it, but it pays the bills. Prince sipped his coffee, said nothing. The desert stretched out in front of them, red and orange under the setting sun, silent except for the occasional wind. Roy lit a cigarette, offered one to Prince. Prince shook his head. Your son, he ever play any more? Nah, sold his guitar 15 years ago, after some record label in L.A. laughed at his demo, told him to get a real job. That's rough. That's life. Not everybody makes it. Most people don't. Prince looked at the horizon. Most people give up. Roy glanced at him. What's the difference? Prince didn't answer immediately, just watched the sun disappear behind the desert hills. Finally, the difference is someone believing in you when everyone else says no. Roy snorted. Sounds like something a motivational speaker would say. It's what happened to me. My dad didn't believe in my music. The labels didn't believe in it. Radio didn't believe in it. But I believed in it, and I kept going until I found one person who said yes. Who was that? A guy who ran a small label in Minneapolis, gave me a chance when nobody else would. Changed my life. Roy took a drag of his cigarette, thinking, Danny's demo, the one the label laughed at. I still have it. Never threw it away, even after he told me to. Why'd you keep it? Because I believed in it, even if nobody else did, even if he didn't anymore. They sat in silence for another minute. Then Roy stood. Come on, let's get back to work. This engine's not going to fix itself. 8:47 p.m. Roy needed the car registration. Open the glove box. Get me the paperwork. Prince opened it. Inside, registration, insurance card, and a cassette tape. Handwritten label, P. Nelson, Demo 1978. The tape fell out, landed on the garage floor. Roy picked it up, looked at the label. What's this? Prince, quietly. Old demo from when I was starting out? You kept it in your car? I keep it everywhere. Reminds me where I came from. Roy looked at the tape, then at Prince. You got a tape player? In the car, but the car's dead. Roy walked to the back room, returned with an old boom box, 1980s model, covered in dust. Let's hear it. He put the tape in, pressed play. A raw, unpolished version of an early Prince song, just him and a keyboard. No production, no studio polish, but the voice was unmistakable, and the talent was undeniable. Roy listened, didn't move, didn't speak. When the tape ended, he ejected it. Looked at Prince. This is you? Yeah. This is from 1978? Yeah. Roy's face changed. The contempt was gone. Now there was just recognition. You're Prince. Yeah. Long silence. The Prince. Purple Rain, Prince. That's me. Roy sat down heavily on a workbench stool. I've been calling you city folk for 2 days. I know. Why didn't you say something? You didn't ask. Roy looked at the cassette tape in his hand. Why do you keep this? Because that's the version of me that nobody wanted. Labels said it was too weird. Radio said it was too black. People said I'd never make it. Prince took the tape back. I keep it to remember that every version of me, even the rejected one, mattered, because without that tape, there's no Purple Rain. Roy, quietly. My son gave up. He had a demo, too, played it for some record label in L.A. They laughed at him, told him to get a real job. So he did. Does he still play? No. Sold his guitar 15 years ago. Prince looked at the Thunderbird. What's his name? Danny Tucker. He live in San Diego? Yeah, why? Prince didn't answer. Day 3, 11:47 a.m. The Thunderbird was fixed. Roy had replaced the gasket, flushed the radiator, changed the oil. It purred like new. Prince paid, $600 cash. Roy had only charged for parts, no labor. You didn't have to do that. Yes, I did. You helped. You earned it. They shook hands. Prince got in the car, started the engine, rolled down the window. Roy, your son, Danny, tell him something for me. What's that? Tell him the people who laughed at his demo were wrong, and if he ever wants to play again, he should call this number. Prince handed Roy a card. Paisley Park Studios. Direct line. Roy stared at it. You serious? Dead serious. I'm always looking for session musicians. If he's half as good as you say, I'll find a place for him. Roy's eyes watered. He hasn't played in 15 years. Then it's time he started again. Prince drove away, Purple Thunderbird disappearing into the desert heat. 2 weeks later, Roy called Danny, told him about Prince, about the card. Danny laughed. Dad, that's a prank. Prince doesn't just give random people studio jobs. Call the number. Danny called. A woman answered, Paisley Park. My name is Danny Tucker. My dad said, Danny Tucker? Yes, Prince said you'd call. Can you be in Minneapolis next Thursday? August 2011. Danny arrived at Paisley Park. Prince met him at the door. Your dad fixed my car. Now I'm fixing your career. Fair trade. Danny spent 3 days at Paisley Park. Prince listened to his old demo. Danny had brought the tape his dad kept. When it finished playing, Prince sat back. Your dad was right to keep this. He never threw anything away. Stubborn old man. No, he kept it because he heard something in it, something the labels missed. Danny looked uncomfortable. It's not very good. I was 22, didn't know what I was doing. Neither did I when I made mine. That's not the point. The point is you had something, and then you let someone else tell you it. Wasn't enough. Danny stared at his hands. They laughed at me. I played it for this A&R guy in L.A. He didn't even listen to the whole thing, just stopped it halfway through and said, Kid, you're wasting your time. And you believed him. Yeah. Why? Because he worked at a label, because he knew the industry, because I was nobody. Prince stood, walked to the window, looked out at the Minneapolis skyline. I've been told no more times than you can count, by people who knew the industry, by people who said I was too weird, too sexual, too black, too different. You know what I learned? What? The people who say no aren't the ones who matter. The ones who say yes are. He turned back to Danny. Your dad said yes. He kept that tape for 15 years. That's more faith than most artists ever get. Then Prince said, You're good, rusty, but good. I want you to play rhythm guitar on my next album. Danny in shock. I haven't played professionally in 15 years. Your dad told me. So we'll start slow. 1 track. If it works, we'll do more. Danny played on Prince's 2014 album. Credit, Danny Tucker. Guitar, track 7. It was his first professional music credit in 18 years. April 21st, 2016. Prince Rogers Nelson died at Paisley Park. 57 years old. Danny Tucker, now 52, still playing music part-time, was devastated. He drove to Roy's garage in Arizona, found his dad sitting outside, staring at the empty desert. You heard? Roy nodded. Couldn't speak. Danny sat next to him. After a long silence, "He saved me, Dad. I was dead inside, and he brought me back." "He saved both of us." Danny pulled out the 1978 demo cassette, the one Prince had left in the glove box. Roy had kept it. "He left this?" "Yeah. I think he wanted us to have it." They sat together, father and son, listening to a dead man's voice on a 40-year-old tape, remembering the moment everything changed. 2019, Roy Tucker died, 80 years old. At the funeral, Danny played guitar. He played Purple Rain, acoustic, solo, in a small Arizona church. In the eulogy, "My dad spent 50 years fixing cars in the desert. One day, Prince's car broke down. 3 days later, my dad's broken dreams were fixed." That's who Prince was. He didn't just fix cars, he fixed people. Roy's garage is now a landmark. A small plaque outside reads, "In August 2011, Prince Rogers Nelson's car broke down here. He stayed 3 days. He left with a working car. He left us with hope. R.I.P. Roy Tucker, 1939 to 2019, and Prince, 1958 to 2016. Tourists stop, take photos, leave purple flowers. The cassette tape, the 1978 demo, is framed on the wall inside. Below it, a note in Roy's handwriting. He kept this to remember where he came from. I'm keeping it to remember where we went. R.T. Every year on August 21st, the week Prince's car broke down, musicians from across the country gather at the garage. They bring guitars, keyboards, drums. They set up in the parking lot, where Prince and Roy once sat drinking instant coffee watching the sunset. And they play, all day, all night. Danny Tucker is always there. Now 59, gray hair, still playing guitar. In 2022, a journalist asked him, "What did Prince give you that day in 2011? Danny thought for a long time. "He gave me back my voice. I'd been silent for 15 years, not just musically, emotionally, spiritually. I'd convinced myself I had nothing to say. Prince taught me that wasn't true. He said, 'Your dad kept your tape because he heard something worth keeping. Maybe you should listen to what he heard.' And did you? Every day since. The garage still operates. Now run by Roy's grandson, Michael, 28, learning the trade. He never met Prince, but he grew up with the story. Every customer who comes in hears it. The day Prince's car broke down, the tape in the glove box, the second chance given to a stranger's son. And every time someone asks, 'Is this story real?' Michael walks them to the wall, shows them the tape, the handwriting, the plaque. It's real, and it's still happening. Every musician who plays here, every person who hears the story and decides not to give up. That's Prince, still fixing people, even now."